seconds. Where are we at? All right, well, Kufar Akbar, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. This is a blog talk radio program dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We are here every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, normally for about 2 hours, where we discuss various issues that deal with the differences between Christianity and Islam. Today, we're going to be looking at a review of a debate that happened last Saturday between the Imam Kenny Bomer and Dr. David Wood. Dominic is frozen here, so I am kicking him from the studio, and then I'm bringing him up over here. There we go. I couldn't understand why you were on there twice. Because you're frozen on one. There we go.
Yeah, my connection.
You're all squared now, though. Okay, so let me take care of an admin thing here. First, if you could go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and then comment also on the show as we go along. Evidently, Mr. Computer Man over there, the master of the algorithm, Rad says that helps get the word out. So if you could do that, I'd appreciate that. If you don't 50. Do it, then
you get 50 likes and they boost you.
Do that. Okay. Well, there you go. So like away, rage jihad on the like button and the subscribe button. And there's a bell that is supposed to remind you, if I'm not mistaken. Uh-oh. Look at that. We got somebody trying to get in the studio. And we're full already. We even started the show and we're full already. Mamma mia. That's all right. Okay, so today we're going to dissect and critique this post-date debate that Kenny hosted yesterday, providing excuses as to why he performed so poorly in his debate against Dr. David Wood. And we did this last week. We did a critique of the debate itself, but we were going to be discussing something completely different today until the troublemaker, the radical moderate, sent me this guy's link and said, "Hey, let's watch this." And so we watched it, and I'm like, okay. 9 pages later, I'm thinking, okay. And folks, these guys were on for 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. I don't know how can. And so when I went through the critique, I got through last night, this morning before church, and then this afternoon, I only got up to the 40-minute mark of this discussion.
Okay, Daenerys said that Kenny is trying to get into the show.
Oh, he is. Well, let him try. I'm so disappointed.
All right, no, hold on, Eric, hold on. Kenny's trying to get in. I say okay
What do you mean, okay?
for this brief moment. I mean, well, let's discuss.
No.
Or
Okay, hold
discuss.
on.
Kenny can listen.
Okay, this is what he says in his show last night or yesterday. He said, let's see here, and it was about doing the difference between doing a debate and the difference between doing a live stream. And I have this in here someplace. And he said, well, the difference between doing a debate is that you have to be on your feet, you have to think. But if you live stream, you can bring somebody up on stage, let them make them comment, and then you can mute them and move them back off stage and talk over them and make whatever points you want to. So so he admits he admits what he does to people when they come onto his platform. He moves them to the back. He moves them to backstage while he sits there and bad mouths whatever they had to say. And this is why I can't figure out why you guys continually go to that show and try to think that you're going to get any type of fair hearing or fair, some type of fair shake from the guy. I don't know.
Well,
if you think you're accomplishing something, that's cool. But it's the way he treats his guests is just pathetic.
I'm just saying we should be better than the Muslim. But okay, it's up to you because it is your show. Because I sold it back to you.
And you made a profit at it too, by the way.
Well, this is true. So, I never did go on that cruise though. But anyway.
Yeah, I was hoping. I was wondering if you claimed that on your taxes that you just get done. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I actually did pretty good.
You know, they were on the doing the yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I did send it, and then they rejected it. So then I had to take off all my illegal aliens I was claiming, and then I ended up with $6. But no, I mean.
By the way, that was a joke from somebody about Kenny. So he's not there.
He's not there. Oh, okay.
Okay, so
if we wanted to, I would be okay with it, but after we give our presentation, that's all.
No, well, even then, no.
Okay.
I mean, the guy's a doxer. I mean, this is. I just,
true.
I pray for the man.
I wanted to see if he was going to apologize.
I
wanted to see if he was going to ever apologize for accusing me of being a twice
he won't.
follower of Muhammad.
And this is what you're a dhimmi. You're not. He's not. He's not going to do that, dude. What the heck? He's not going to do that.
God, I thought he was your friend. Remember you were talking about LGBTQIA plus. I thought you were great friends.
They were bonding. Yes,
dude. No, I'm okay with working with anyone on certain subjects and certain issues. I don't care. I mean, I look, okay, I am perfectly willing to work with ISIS Muslims. If ISIS Muslims are true to their thing where they say as much as I want to live, they want to die. I'm perfectly working with that arrangement. Okay? That sounds perfectly good to me because as much as they want to die, these ISIS Muslims, I really want them to die. So I can build bridges in that. Okay? All right. But, no, Kenny is a very violent man.
And he admits that. He admits it. I mean, the guys, this is like, this is like low-hanging fruit here. It's a target-rich environment. That's why it's taken me so long to get through the first 45 minutes. So if you sit here and talk about, we'll never get to anything.
No,
so
it was bad. It was so fallacious. Those. I don't know how many fallacies you counted. I gave up at one point.
During the debate, is that?
No, the review.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it. Okay. So, let's come over here, and all right. So we're going to start off at 6:32, and I really didn't have any bullets that I made about this one. I'm just going to let it speak for itself. And then we'll stop it. It's only about 15 seconds.
I can and reflect and think, I could have done this, I could have done that. But overall, I think the debate went exactly how I intended it to go. Made the points that I intended to make. And, with this particular topic, this was the second debate.
Okay. So I wanted it to go, and you made the points that he wanted to make. Now, when we look at the points that he wanted to make, if you look at the overarching idea that he was presenting the idea that there are differing views on the age of Aisha according to Islam. And so he made all kinds of points demonstrating that. Where he didn't. That's the point that I want to make. He did not cite. You notice he did not cite one hadith providing a different age for Aisha. And the reason why he didn't cite the one hadith providing a different age for Aisha is because it doesn't exist. So if you're going to try to make a point that, hey, I made all the points that I wanted to make, well, you didn't make any points suggesting a different age of Aisha other than your opinion or the opinions of others who, oh, by the way, are embarrassed by this. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to add to that before we move on?
Aisha.
Aisha.
You're saying Aisha. Aisha.
Saying what?
It's Aisha.
I am saying Aisha.
Okay. It sounds like you're saying Aisha.
No.
Okay. Don't.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Girl's name begins
Aisha.
with the letter
Aisha.
A and ends with an A. Aisha. All right.
Well,
we
you
go.
asked, so
Okay.
I had
No,
to
that's
plug
fine.
it in.
That's fine. Okay.
Well,
Yes, sir.
I just want to add one point. It did go the way Kenny intended to go. If Kenny meant to make a complete fool out of himself, if Kenny meant to throw if Kenny meant to throw
I
the
agree with you
hadith under
there.
the bus, if Kenny meant to just throw all the hadith, all the classical Islamic scholars, everyone under the bus that believes in Muhammad, calling them wrong, basically takfiring them. If that's how he meant it to go, then hey,
He
congratulations.
declared himself an apostate, so I congratulate him. He did a really good job.
Exactly. But let's continue.
Okay, so this one, he's going to be talking about how he brought in multiple points, various scholars, and would cause. Now, notice the word he uses here. Any decent person can't really say how old she was, so that would mean only indecent persons. Listen to this crap. This is how he debates.
Debate on this topic, and the first debate I brought in multiple points in regards to the various scholars, Muslim and non-Muslim scholars, who have had various theories about the age of Aisha radiallahu anha, and so that within itself, for any decent person in my mind, would cause someone to say, you know what, I can't really say how old she was.
Sure, you can. So listen, he
wait. He did say how old she was. He said she was 18.
Is that what he said?
You were swine.
Yeah,
Or 21. I mean, his numbers just keep on increasing.
15,
Yeah,
18, 21, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he gave her ages, but he's not decent, and he doesn't realize that.
Right, and what he's basically, and this is how he argues. He said, he says any decent and logical person would think the way I do, when the opposite is true, because any logical or decent person would actually go to the original source material and say, where do we begin with this? Where did this idea that you had some 50-year-old man crawl on top of a 9-year-old girl to begin with? Well, does that originate from the scholars? No, you go back to the original sources. The original sources, all. When I say all, every single one that suggests Aisha that provided a number for Aisha's age say that she was 9, with the exception of one.
You said she was 10.
And that's from the Sirah. That is from the biography of Muhammad, and it says 9 or 10. So there's only one source that says that she was something other than 9, and it says that she was 10, and it says 9 or 10. And
it still works because those are lunar years.
Good point. Good point, Paul. Yeah.
Because you've got Sahih Bukhari, which is 6. I guess Sahih Muslim 6.
No, those are the age of marriage. 6 is the age of marriage.
Yeah.
And 9 is the age of consummation.
Right. And then he wants to argue, well, what is consummation? Is that like signing a contract? Is this like a business deal? Shut your pile. Really?
Yeah, he didn't touch where it falls under marriage.
No,
he went to property and everything else, but we're not talking about property.
This is the
but with Islam, right? We could be right with Islam. Women are properties.
Women are properties.
Exactly.
So.
Okay. So he makes both the points.
This is
and
the process
falls on his face
of equivocating, where you change the meaning of a term in
a different category.
in a different context, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Another
there you
piece
go.
of fallacious reasoning on the part of Kenny. Great job proving
Way to
that you
go,
lost
yeah.
the argument.
Yeah, he says, because when you can't, and this is where it is impossible, and they don't allow people to provide criticisms of Islam. They make it, they make it against illegal, according to the Sharia, according to Islamic law, to criticize the consensus of the scholars. And the reason why is when you start criticizing the scholars, this is where you start opening free inquiry, where we can say, well, actually, we can start second guessing this and this is what Kenny is finally doing. Thank you, Kenny, for starting a reformation of sorts within Islam, where we can actually go in and question, hey, where's the archaeological evidence for Mecca? Where can we find that? Where do you find the sources that the Quraysh tribe actually existed in this region of Saudi Arabia? Where do we find it? And this is where you can start questioning this. And when they keep questioning this and they cannot provide any type of answers, any type of evidence, they're done.
Yeah, they just finally need to throw in the towel.
Okay.
You know,
so he goes
but
on.
they won't, because it's a money-making thing. I mean, it costs thousands of dollars just to go to Mecca. For a woman, she's got to bring her brother or uncle or father. It cost a daughter of Christ $10,000, and she could not touch that rock. And she realized, did you hear her testimony? It dawned on her that Allah is bizarre. Because look at me, I'm trying to touch this rock so that my sins will be forgiven. A rock. Thank you.
This is the one from Hatun's channel?
Hatun, yes, that's her best friend. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we ought to get her on here.
Oh, she's British, right?
I'm British.
She
I don't
lives in
know.
Britain.
I
She lives in Britain.
don't
She's,
think so. She's got an accent. I
Well,
don't
even
think
if
so.
even if she was British, we wouldn't hold that against her. I mean,
Hatun's
Oh, of
she's from
course.
Turkey.
No,
Of
not
course.
Gosh, the other one. What's her name? The daughter of Christ?
there's
Oh
Kay.
man, her testimony is awesome. Oh my goodness,
Hello?
it'll make you cry.
All right, well,
It's
let's
beautiful.
go ahead
Y'all
and
hear me?
get in contact with her and see if we can get her on. Oh, by the way, next Tuesday.
Y'all
what's
can't hear
today?
me, can you?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ed. Go ahead.
Yeah, we hear
Okay,
you,
I'll-
Ed.
Oh,
Yes,
we're
sir.
just talking
She's
over you, ignoring you.
she's from
Go ahead.
Turkey, man. She's from Turkey.
Daughter of Christ is?
No, Hatun.
Yeah. right,
Hatun
right.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where were we?
We're getting ready to go into the next clip. And I was just making the point, when you start doing Islamic scholarship, it's not scholarship at all. It's just accepting, a blind acceptance of what the Quran says,
Right.
conforming your entire worldview to that document itself. That's not scholarship. That's not how facts are arrived at. That's how dogmas are developed and cults are developed. Okay, let's get to the next clip. Did you have something you wanted to add to that, Rad?
No, go ahead.
All right, here we go. This next one's about 30 seconds.
Because the evidence from scholars and people who've done in-depth research and put these different theories together is conflicting. And when you have multiple people saying, giving multiple conclusions based on their findings, then that tells me as an individual, if I'm being intellectually honest and sincere with myself, and when I'm studying about these issues and I see these different scholars and these historians making these different claims about her age at the age of marriage.
Okay, so he's what he's claiming here is that he's looking at what the scholars have to say about Aisha's age and people who are writing Islamic history. And he's lying about that. That's not true. When we look at what the original sources say, they all say she was 9, but also scholarship throughout the centuries have said that she was prepubescent. Let's go to Ibn Kathir. Here's what Ibn Kathir says. Ibn Kathir says, when commenting on when commenting on Bukhari, he said, in Bukhari, it says he contracted marriage with Aisha when she was 6, therefore consummating marriage when she was 9. Kathir says, is not disputed by anyone and is well established in the Sahih collections of traditions and elsewhere. Ibn Kathir. So Kenny is contradicting Ibn Kathir. What a great position to be in, where you're going to contradict probably the most prolific and widely accepted commentator, compiler of tafsir on the Quran. Way to go, Kenny.
Sounds like Kenny just went Shia on us.
Either that or he's going Quran only. I don't know.
Even if you go Quran only, the prepubescence, they can have sex with prepubescence, and you got Muhammad hijab,
65:4, right? Yeah,
saying 65:4, 33:49 is the foundation of that, and then hijab says, if you just go by the Quran, you can have sex with a 5-year-old. So I mean, they just might as well just throw their hands up and say, yes, this is pathetic. We're focusing on whether we can marry children. Come on. This goes against what Jesus says. Thank you.
What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you Muslims? What is wrong with you?
They're sick. That's what's wrong with them.
Yeah, they are very, very sick.
It's preying upon children.
I think the real big issue, they make the issue that Muhammad's perfect, therefore this must be justified. That's the biggest, sickest part of the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's disgracing children, your offspring. It's so sad.
I want to read something here that addresses Kenny trying to refute Sahih Hadith. And I've said this a couple times on this show before, and it's from Al-Tabari. When Al-Tabari what was this thing called? It was called Tabari Fatah, Al-Tabari Fatah. Okay, in here he writes, when he's commenting, Al-Tabari, the historian of Islam, who would kind of know, and he's throwing Tabari under the bus too. The Sahih of Imam Bukhari is a collection of Sahih hadith, specifically not a collection of the only hadith that scholars should use. The scholars themselves state a Sahih a Sahih hadith has about a 99 to 100% chance of being entirely accurate.
Wow.
Al-Tabari says that a Sahih hadith, not just what's in Bukhari, but a Sahih hadith itself has a 99 to 100% chance of being entirely accurate. And so when we start looking at all of these hadith that Kenny completely dismissed, that David Wood read off, there's over a dozen of them, from Bukhari, from Muslim, from Sunan Abu Dawud, from Al-Nas, all of those Tirmidhi, all of those compilers. Kenny, that comes from a chain of narrators that we can't trust. And not all of them come from that same chain of narrators, oh, by the way, that David Wood pointed out. And he's throwing all of that, 99 to 100% authentic, he's throwing under the bus. That is religious suicide. It really is. I mean, that's just the suicide of your religion.
Hold on, Kafir. Hold on.
Well, I was going to say, there's a way that you can challenge that. Like, you could say, in defense of Imam Bomer, you could say, look, well, yes, there's these hadith. You could say, well, I'm a Quran-only Muslim, or I'm a Shia Muslim, and I don't take the Ahlus Sunnah Jama'ah position. And I could say, well, these hadith, okay, well, there might be reliable people. Maybe they forgot the information. Maybe the information is inaccurate. There is a way that you can just kind of just say, you could just say, I don't trust the hadith, and I just focus on the Quran, and that's it.
Okay, well then you got a problem with the Quran too that we can discuss.
Well, hold on, you Kafirs. Hold on, you Kafirs. Okay. No.
Imam Radical coming up.
Kenny does not reject
I
all
like that.
hadiths. Kenny rejects only these hadiths.
Right.
Because for some reason they came from Iraq, and Iraq is bad for some reason.
He's an Iraqi
But the thing is, if you reject the hadiths, you reject everything else that's in the hadiths. So if you Sahih, like the whole Sahih Bukhari, like as like the whole life of Muhammad.
We're getting to that.
So
Dominic, you're
you
absolutely
can
right. We're
take
getting
that
to
with a
that.
bathwater. You're actually kind of destroying the whole of Islam. You're
Yeah.
not
But-
like
We're getting to that.
Those hadiths come from Iraq because they have to come from a special place. They can't come from Iraq because for some reason Iraq is bad. I don't know why, but okay. Anyway,
Iraq is the former location of Babylon.
And it's still there, by the way. Okay, let's go ahead. You guys, anybody anything else want to say? Let's go ahead and start
Keep
this.
knocking us out.
This next clip is 20 seconds. So let's go ahead and play it.
That tells me, as a person who uses my intellect, and it does so sincerely with no, I'm not trying to impress anyone, but when I come to my own conclusion is that there's no way to determine what her actual age was because the evidence is conflicting. So that was the
and you're an idiot. I mean, of course you're not.
Sorry, there was no intellect. There was
Right.
no intellectual statement there. There was nothing. There was no delving for evidence. There was no proof of
Well, you notice
one
the
thing or another.
disqualifier.
There's just lack of. He disqualified himself.
Okay, the disqualifier was I'm not trying to impress anybody. Well, we most certainly hope you're not because you definitely do. When you look at those clapping seals in his studios, like, oh, yeah, okay, can I hear everyone? I'm like, come on. Let's see.
wait
here.
a second.
You notice they were nodding their heads when he was saying.
Right, that's what I'm calling them. They might just be a bunch of seals that are barking in the front row of.
Well, hold on a second. Kenny says that there's conflicting sources in the debate. Even in this debate review, he says that there's hadiths that are conflicting. There's not. He never quotes them. He never cites these hadiths. There are no conflicting hadiths. The only thing that he has is conflicting, and he actually says
On this topic, we should say. On this topic, there's no conflicting hadiths.
Yeah, on this topic. But in both debates, he said that first of all, nobody had any problems with what Muhammad did with Aisha up until the 1900s. Okay, true, and that only because the problems came from Western people.
Right.
Okay, all right. But then he has, so then he has to say, okay, there was no problem with it. Well, okay, if there's no problem with it, then why does he have to throw out these hadiths? Why does he have to dismiss them, even if they were written in Iraq, even if they were from the same person or from the students of the same person? Why does he have to do this? And there are no conflicting hadiths on this topic. They all say the same thing. And no, they're not from the same person. And no, they're not from. He actually says in this roundup, he actually admits, well, yeah, there are a couple other chains of narration that came from Mecca, but no, they weren't written down until they actually got to Iraq. Let me break it down for you, Kenny. Pretty much 90% of all the Sahih hadiths or all the hadiths or any kind of intellectual scholarship did not come from Mecca, did not come from Medina. They came because they moved right away to better lands, which were in Mesopotamia. They went to Iraq. They went to Basra. They went to what is now modern day Baghdad. They went into Persia. Okay, they went into Syria. Okay, this is where these people settled after they conquered lands because these were well-developed cities with things like modern day plumbing. Okay, baths, water. Okay, all right. They had food. Okay, they didn't stay in this little desert land if there ever was such a place called Mecca. No, they got out of Dodge right away after the death of the third caliphate. Okay, Ali quickly got out of Dodge and he settled in there. But you know what I'm saying? No, dude, everything came from these areas because nobody stayed in Mecca, nobody stayed in Medina. They got
nobody lived there.
Hell out of Dodge.
Well, this is what all of the earliest geographers, cartographers say about that region of Arabia, that it was not only uninhabited, but it was uninhabitable. So to say that this is the mother of all cities, this is where, you had a major trade route going through, is nothing but malarkey. And everybody knows it now that we're able to actually talk about it, which leads to our next clip, unless somebody still wants to opine here. Anybody?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and bring this next clip up. We're at 8. What are we at here? 8:43 is close enough.
Point in that. Okay, so originally the first debate was saying nothing different. When you have people looking at these different hadith, right, and they're coming to different conclusions, every one of them are drawing their conclusions based on the fact that they don't believe that the report that we see in the hadith that Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, was actually 9 years old when sexual intercourse took place. Multiple people don't believe that. And so they're all calling, whether they're doing it directly or indirectly, they're all calling the hadith in question that say that she was 9 years old when quote unquote consummation happened. They're all calling those hadith into question.
Okay, so the question becomes is why are they calling them into question now?
Wait. Didn't he just use consummation correctly?
He did.
Yes.
Right, of course, because he's a hypocrite. That's why. He uses it correctly here, but he didn't want to use it correctly in debate. That's what a hypocrite does. And he conflates the term. But here's the question. If no one questioned the morality of the marriage of Aisha when she was 9 and Muhammad was 54 prior to 1905, and this is according to Kenny, of course, why are so many people today calling these hadith, which describe Muhammad's consummation of a marriage to a 9-year-old prepubescent girl, why are they calling them into question today? When they didn't do it before, why are they doing it today? And the reason why they're doing it today is because now these facts are coming into the light of the truth. People are actually able to examine these things. And when people examine these things and they look and see what the hadith actually say consistently, they're horrified. How can you possibly believe that this guy was a prophet when we know, when it's your own sources, your most trusted 99 to 100% chance of being completely authentic sources say that he did these things?
I think it all comes down again to they think that he is that their neighbor who is Muslim considers a perfect man who was a perfect man who was a pedophile. Does that mean that your neighbor who's the Muslim has that desire? And that's scary.
Not to mention that the literature wasn't available to just anybody until
exactly. That's exactly right. We have the proliferation of literature today, where if you wanted to find this out 100 years ago, you would have to go digging through books and you would have to contact. Today, you can just get on Google and Google.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you'd have to go find the books because they weren't readily available either.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't.
They were Arabic. They were in Arabic.
Right. And it wasn't the translations. You're exactly right. I was just going to opine about what did you just say, Paul? There was something I was going to comment on that.
Again, if this is all based on Muhammad, I mean, are you okay with this? Your neighbor who considers Muhammad a perfect man, if you consider your neighbor Muslim and he considers Muhammad a perfect man, and the perfect man had sex with a 9-year-old, I mean, you got to be concerned about your neighbor now.
Right. Well, this is where he consistently made the comment during the debate that to say this is an attack on all Muslims. When you say this about Muhammad, is just you're attacking all Muslims. No, we're not. We're talking about
the idiot Muhammad.
Right. Well, we're describing what your sources say that the things that he did, and then we're comparing those to what most people would think as decent behavior. But yet you're going to accuse people of being indecent for believing them. It's just astonishing, the hypocrisy that you see being applied here. It really is.
Yeah, Eric.
Yeah.
If they're trying to accuse us, we're just saying what like Ibn Kathir, Ibn Abbas, Abu Dawood is saying to highlight that this is disgusting. Okay. So he would have to call Ibn Kathir and all of them Islamophobes.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, as David Wood said in the debate, this is shocking. Once again, David Wood has to come in and defend all the Islamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, all these Islamophobes. Oh wait, no, keep going. Yeah, keep going because we got to get to the other stuff, which gets better.
Okay. Let's see here. So in this next clip, he talks about more reliable hadith describe a different age. What? Yeah, I know. We're just hang on.
He hasn't provided any.
It'll be stop. Quit being so demanding.
And so the second debate, I did nothing different. It's not my argument wasn't different. It's the same argument. I'm just being more direct with saying, let me tell you why. Now that we've addressed the multiple theories that that scholars and historians have in relation.
Okay, before we press, somebody needs to throw this guy, the Muslim apologist of fish, for acting like a seal, nodding all the time.
To these hadith, because of what other hadith say, more reliable hadith.
Okay, so he says more reliable hadith describe a different age. So if these hadith exist, if these hadith do in fact exist, why didn't he cite them? Why didn't he cite them during the debate? Why doesn't he cite them now? Why doesn't he tell us where can we find these hadith? Where do we find this literature?
I have a question. Do you think he has a different standard for reliable hadith? Because usually the standard isn't about the information that's transmitted. It's about the chain. But he seems to critique the chain that is provided. So I'm curious, like, how will we define what a reliable hadith is? Is it just the information that's within it?
Later on in other clips, he explains what his standard is, and you're going to be shocked.
Well, when we get it, here's what's really scary about this: how we determine to rate a hadith is told to us and defined for us in the hadith. You know what we call that? Circular reasoning. You have the hadith telling us how to rate the hadith. You know, that's like saying, well, the Bible's true because the Bible says it's true. Well, you don't accept that, do you? No, of course you wouldn't. No thinking person, no decent person would do that. But yet, here we go. It's right in front of us.
Eric. Case in point, I could have read the Bible and never have had Jesus reveal himself to me like he did to Daughter of Christ. If that God that's supposed to be about the Bible, if that God never contacted me, I would have burned that Bible. But the God did reveal himself to me. He showed me in my life. And then I would see it in Scripture, especially him touching my son and giving my 2.5-year-old a baby revelation that God made his eyes, his nose, his legs, me, mama. God made everything. So, but, you know, unfortunately with the Muslims, it's just like, why don't you just ask your Allah to talk to you? He has a mouth, he speaks, but he'll never do that. And when Muslims come out of Islam, they finally say that, I have cried to hear my Allah. Yeah, I want to hear him. I want to experience him. They never do. So thank you.
And this is their belief that God cannot interact with his creation.
Isn't that so sad? Because they're coming against Christ. They say, "Oh no, oh wow." That the Christians and the prophets are saying God's going to come, so we've got to oppose this. And it's like, man, you're cutting off your own experience with your own God, whoever you call he is. And now you're saying, wow, you can't even have a personal relationship. He can't even come to you. And speak to you. Thank you, Darcy. Go ahead.
That actually contradicts what Muslims claim, that the book, the Quran, was sent down to us by Allah. Well, that's impossible if he can't come down, speak to us.
Yeah, because the Quran is the mother.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Good Lord, Darcy.
So, right. Issa, what one more thing on this, Issa? Well, so far, right now, what we know of Imam Kenny's Islam on the hadith that he accepts is, one, it can't come from Iraq, and two, it can't come from a certain person in Iraq because, well, I've noticed this, and I'm sure you actually brought it up, Issa, that most Muslims will say if they don't like a Sahih hadith, or if the narrator is found to be sound in other hadiths, which they do accept, they will just say that, well, that later hadith, he revealed that when he was really old and he was losing his memory. They can say that about anybody. You know what I mean?
And I found drinking alcohol.
I found that to be their escape clause. It's like, well, yeah, but some scholars say later in life there was something wrong with his memory because he was getting older. So we don't accept this hadith because it was he narrated it when he was older. How do you know he narrated when he was older? Oh, well, we don't know. The scholars say, Okay. But that's kind of the escape clause. But as of right now, definitely, if it came from Iraq, forget about it. But wait till you hear it later. The only hadith he accepts, and the only hadith that he accepts, there is a criteria on it. It's kind of funny, but let's continue.
All right, here we go.
Interesting.
She was 17, and the evidence is conflicting. And so I told my wife weeks ago, I told her what's going to happen is I'm going to be criticized for rejecting these particular hadith, and what they're going to do is try to make the claim that I'm rejecting all hadith, and that's not the case. I'm not rejecting all hadith. I'm rejecting those particular hadith, and I knew that David Wood would try to jump on that, but by doing so, he's conceding my point.
Okay, so he doesn't reject all hadith. He's only rejecting, and let's keep in mind, he's only rejecting those that make his prophet look like a pervert. That's the only ones that he's rejecting. He's not rejecting the ones that describe his prophet. Notice he's not rejecting the ones that describe Muhammad engaging in the slave trade, buying, selling, raping, encourage the rape of enslaving women. Notice he doesn't reject the hadith that describe his prophet murdering people and ordering people to murder people. He doesn't reject those. He doesn't reject the hadith that clearly demonstrates his prophet was using his angel Gabriel as a sock puppet when describing why children resemble their parents. He doesn't reject the hadith that describe Mecca as having grass, olive trees, tillable soil, trees, grapes, pools. Well, he doesn't reject those hadith, even though they're false. He doesn't reject the hadith that describe Muhammad ordering the torturing of a Jewish man for not telling Muhammad where the gold was. And he doesn't reject the hadith describing Muhammad going to each of his 9 wives in one evening and having sex with them without taking a bath. Notice how selective he is with the hadith that he does accept and the ones that he rejects.
Amen. Hey,
Great.
were all those
Because the
Sahih?
thing is,
Were all those Sahih,
Oh
Eric?
yeah, yes, oh yeah. So
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, hon.
Are they Bukhari?
if he rejects all the ones, if he rejects all the ones from Iraq, they're all the early hadiths, aren't they? So all the early hadiths, if I remember rightly from Jay Smith's diagrams, all the Sahih Bukhari, the other kind of hadiths from that area,
Sahih
but
Muslim.
all of them are early hadiths. So essentially, you're having to go like 500-600 years after the life of Muhammad. So essentially, how because if you kind of base it, because I was trying to bring up the historical method which you use, which we have explanatory power, explanatory scope. I think
Islam doesn't use the historical method, Dominic. You know that. You
No.
at facts when you use the historical method. They don't use that. You arrive at fantasies and store in just little kids' stories when you don't use the historical method. And that's what you get.
I know. But the thing is because he has to dodge the historical method. I mean, how many years after the life of Muhammad is it we're dealing with? Are we dealing with it's like you're kind of basically
the hadith were not compiled for 250 years after the death of Muhammad. Bukhari did not live until 870. That 870 is when he compiled his. Muhammad died in 632. This is 250 years. Yeah, this is 250 years. He didn't know Ibn Ishaq, who wrote his biography 100 years after his death. And he didn't know Ibn Hisham, who copied from Ibn Ishaq, because we don't have no extant copy of Ishaq's work, who lived 200 years after Muhammad's life. So we're getting information from the 9th and 10th centuries.
Yeah.
And they're redacting this information back onto this mythical figure that I think the whole thing is just made up a bunch of hooey by the Abbasids trying to gain political power. And Kenny even admits this. We're going to get to it. He even admits that they were lying. Okay. Let's see here. Can we go on to the next comment? Or does anybody have anything they want to add to that about Kenny's selective application of hadith literature?
Yeah, Eric, I wanted to ask if God's moving Sharon to say anything.
I know
Sharon.
She acts like she's in the witness protection program out there. I don't know what she's doing.
Well, what's God telling you, Sharon? I want to hear it.
What do you want?
Whatever the Lord is impressing on your heart.
I don't know.
She's watching the NBA playoffs on the side. Cut her some slack. She doesn't.
All right, I stand corrected.
Oh, you mean my comments about what I just made on the private chat?
Yeah. Oh, no. What we're saying here.
Oh, I'm totally with you on this.
It's all right. It's not a problem. No problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're gonna
Keep
listen.
your heart.
We're gonna listen to some of Kenny's pals here in a second. Here, look at this. I want you to look at this guy here. This guy right here. Can you see this? You can't see my mouse. This Mohammed Kavef. I mean, what is this guy doing
the Cove. I haven't figured out what.
Oh man,
is he auditioning for some type of Narnia movie, or what's he doing here with this getup he's got going? Dark glasses inside of a building.
The flags are powerful.
Okay, well maybe I don't know. Maybe he's got some type of eye problem or not. But man,
he's dealing with the Force, and the Force is powerful against him.
I think he's Chong's brother.
It's Shikahara.
Yeah, he has very low intelligence.
He didn't say
so
much.
Bad.
He didn't say much during the show. I did.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and play this clip here.
I think he was
now,
probably
you're calling
the producer.
the puppet peace people on him a pedophile, but at the same time, you're admitting that you know and you believe that these hadith are questionable, and so now he's going to jump on that, right? Inevitably, he lost the debate when he did that. And
Are
because
questionable.
you can't play both sides of the fence. Either you're going to insist that these hadith are reliable, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, had sex with a little girl when she was 9 years old. Even though this word consummation is debatable, we'll talk about that.
It's not debatable.
It's not
lying, Kenny. It's not debatable.
He's already used that word, and
yeah, it's
used it
debatable.
for what it meant.
Yeah, that's
It's
that's
not
him.
debatable if he's already used the term.
Right.
It's previous to that, so it's
Right.
not debatable.
Right. It's only debatable in Kenny's mind if it has to do with, land property, but he won't go when it comes to marriage consummation.
No, he won't do it. No, he's only saying in terms of a debate against anybody against him. that's when the term changes, because he
For
just
Kenny.
used it.
For Kenny.
Yes, yeah, because he just used the term himself and used it correctly.
Hey, man, that's a good point. He did. It's so sad. He won't go with the marriage.
Notice what he said. Notice what he said about Muhammad, and he admits that if this is true, that would make Muhammad a pedophile.
Yes,
and that's a heck of an admission, because if that is the case, then you have to do everything you possibly can to deny the reliability.
Use Kenny's words on that one. That would make Muhammad a pedophile.
Right, and this is true. If
We
this
don't
does,
know because we weren't there.
but if this is true, if this is true, and this does make Muhammad a pedophile, then you have to do exactly what Kenny's doing right now. Is you have to destroy the legitimacy and the veracity of these the hadith literature that describe Aisha's age. So Kenny's doing what you would expect anybody that is a true believer that Muhammad was actually some type of epitome of an example for people to follow. That he's doing that, and power to him. But by doing it, we are able to go in and analyze how he's doing it and expose him for being hypocritical and deceitful in the process. Okay.
The sad truth is what Rad has said all along. He has a higher moral stand than Muhammad, and what bothers me the most about it, if his stand is higher than Muhammad's personal stand, then guess what? He's more perfect than Muhammad. Not saying he is, but that says something against the guy he calls a prophet.
Right.
Yeah, and Eric, if they have all these 124,000 prophets before, and they acknowledge the prophets in the Bible, there's no prophets that ever said that you can have sex with prepubescent at all, other than Muhammad. So that goes against the law of Moses. That's one guy saying this. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that Muhammad did that go against the laws of Moses.
Exactly.
Just about everything the man did goes against lots of Moses.
Yeah. I love what DL says. DL says he broke the 10 commandments on a daily basis.
Right.
Because he constantly lied. Thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor. And he's doing it against little children here. Thank you.
Didn't he say something about sinning 70 times 7 or something like that?
Who?
Who are you talking about?
Muhammad.
Muhammad says about 70 times 7?
Yeah, sinning.
Really?
70 times. I'll find the hadith. Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't read that, but yeah, please educate us. Thank you.
Yeah, he said a lot of things that aren't true. Okay, let's see here. The 99% of the Muslims do believe that these Sahihs are reliable. Kenny's in an extreme minority here. So he's missing the entire point when he makes this statement. All right, let's go to this next one. We got to go clear up to the 17-minute mark. How did I miss all this? My goodness. You must have been bloviating or something. Akbaring, who knows? Sahihs are reliable.
As a person who was on the sideline, not in the debate yourself, you're welcome to come and give your opinion.
Oh, he's talking about Al-Din here. Al-Din, Rad sent some pictures. Rad, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay, where are those pictures that you took? That you
I put them in
out?
the Skype channel. I put them in the Skype in my Skype with you.
Oh yeah, here we are. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can drag this over.
Yeah, Al-Din was tearing them apart, dude.
Yeah, it's all due respect. Okay, hold on. Let me. How do I do this? Okay, I got to stop screen share.
We got to invite Al-Din on.
No.
Discuss Kenny Islam.
Yeah, thank you. No.
No.
Thank you.
That guy's a loony bird. Okay, here it is. Yeah, here's Al-Din.
Even the Muslims recognize this.
What is this thing up here? What is this? GoGetFunding.com. Please help. What is it? Can somebody check out what that fundraiser is? Because I'm getting to that. One of the most horrid things that is said in this debate deals something with,
let me see.
GoGetFunding.com. Please e-help. Go get funding. We know GoFundMe.
I don't know, but look what he says here. Look what Al-Din says. With all due respect, all you have done is throw Imam Shafi, Hisham bin Mulra, and his students in Hadith of Bukhari, Muslim, Aisha Hadith under the bus to prove Islam is weak. Kenny, you were attacking Islamic orthodoxy, talking with what's DW? Anti-Islam.
Dawa. I think it's Dawa.
David Wood. Okay, that makes sense.
David Wood. I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. So even he's saying. So apparently even Al-Din is saying, "Yep, you can have sex with a 9-year-old."
They're not cognitively ready guy for debates.
You know,
is smarter and more intelligent than the guy who tried to debate David Wood.
I think.
Hold on, Sharon. Go ahead.
I do have a comment. You see, what he's doing is jihad by the word and pen. See, when you guys are talking, I think about how they think about things like sin. Lying's not a sin in Islam.
That's correct.
What he's
dental
doing is
surgery.
Taria and what's the other one? Darura. Lying out of necessity, and then Taria is intentionally creating a false impression. And he's doing a good and holy deed according to Islam.
I think what's interesting about Imam Bomer's position is he's a pretty good rhetorician. He does have these rhetorics that he uses. Like he uses this gimmick, like the swine of all human, like you're a swine of all humankind. He uses these kind of phrases. He has these like pithy, catchphrases that I think are pretty effective in, getting people's attention. He says it's not about, the word, whatever you're saying, it reflects what, about you, not about me, like whatever the person what do we understand about what they say? We learn much more about them than what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. He's using these kind of catchy arguments to try to get the viewer to be invested. I noticed that.
Right. Yeah.
One thing we all got to remember, and that's Sharia. Don't use reason or logic. Well, if I didn't remember anything else, that's one thing I always remember.
I found the hadith.
Okay.
It's Al-Bukhari, 6307. Abu Hurairah reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "By Allah, I seek forgiveness from Allah, and I repent to Him more than 70 times in a day."
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the 70 times 7 is because there's 7 days in the week. So yeah, so you have to do it 70 times 7. Yeah, that's
Wow.
one of them. That's one of them.
Excellent.
I'm sure there's more. I'll find more.
Excellent.
I'll
Thank you,
put
Ed.
the link in here.
I just want to respond to agree with Issa. I do believe Kenny does have some good rhetoric. Slighting the humankind, and my favorite is I send you to Blocktakistan.
Blockistan. Right.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he does have some good, funny one-liner catchers. It's pretty funny. But anyway, let's continue on.
Okay, here we go. This is a minute long.
No sound, brother.
We can't hear on.
What?
We didn't hear any sound. What?
Why
Yeah,
not?
we didn't hear
What's
it.
wrong with you guys? Okay, hold on, let me go back here. Okay, man, come on. There we go. All right, so let me.
You have to turn your sound up a bit.
Yeah. Let me do this. Let me just redo the whole thing. Here we go. Windows. Go back.
Joy of doing StreamYard is you have to remember to push the stupid button, a stupid box. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, they need to fix that programming.
Yeah,
and can you open up the full screen?
That's it right there. There we go.
No.
It's not that much. No, it's not that much.
Can you check the volume? Can you check the volume too, sir? Thank you, sir. Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy here in the what's her name who's put a question, the Saltifian report or whatever. Kenny, do you believe sex with a child is sick? Well, actually, if you know the hadith, the person who I'm answering to now, Aisha actually said she was not a child. So if you take Aisha's word for it in the hadith, she was not a child. She said she'd already grown up. Now, the fact that she was playing dolls does not make her a child.
Yes,
I can show you
yes, it does.
Grown-ups whove got series of dolls in their houses.
What a liar! Oh, geez.
So he ignored
Where's
my
those
question.
hadiths? Go ahead, Paul.
He ignored my question. I said, please answer the question. Is it sick or is it wrong to have sex with a prepubescent girl? Not one of them answered the question. The entire time I was...
And they bluntly lied. Aisha said she wasn't a child. Where? Where is that hadith? They need to present their evidence.
They're never going to.
That's what Allah says. If you're trustworthy, then show your divine writ that it says that Jesus is the Son of God, and we can. So where's their evidence? They're just throwing out lies. If they're truthful, they need to present their evidence.
Okay, can you highlight what Nicodemus put in, Eric?
Let's see, right here.
By grown up, he means 9 years old. Wow, no. This is so pathetic. These are children. This is just harvesting upon children, which is child abuse. Thank you.
Yes. This is a comment. Okay, this is a comment, and I have this at for the end of the what I have here. But if you remember what Bukhari wrote, Al-Tabari, when commenting on Bukhari on the Sahih Hadith, he says that she was with her dolls. She was with her dolls. And it was Tabari who goes in and qualifies what that means. And Tabari says is that she was a prepubescent girl. But listen to what Asqalani says. Asqalani goes in and does the same thing. It says, I say to say with certainty that she was not yet the age of puberty is questionable. Asqalani is saying is this questionable, though it might be possibly so. This because Aisha was a 14-year-old girl at the Battle of Khaybar, at the time of the Battle of Khaybar. either exactly 14 years old or having just passed her 14th birthday, approaching it. As far as age at the Battle of Tabuk, she had then definitely reached the age of puberty. The Battle of Khaybar was in 629. The Battle of Tabuk was in 630. If she had not reached, think about this, if she had not reached the puberty by the time of the Battle of Khaybar, she was married to Muhammad 5 years prior to this.
Right.
She's 14 at this time. And she still hasn't, they don't know for certain if she's reached the age of puberty at 14. Well, what the heck was she when she was at 9? So to make this excuse that this clown makes, what was his name? Jamal, brother Jamal.
Oh, people of the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's low intelligence too, because he will not show references. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to chime in on this real quick because people are missing this. Okay, the real problem that Ashkelani has, and the real problem.
Rad, make sure you do this carefully so people understand what you had to explain it to me 4 or 5 times.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. The problem that Ashkelani and Tabari are having with her playing with dolls is that if she wasn't of the age of mature, or no, if she was prepubescent, or if she was an adult or a young woman, if she was of the age of reason, Muhammad is allowing her to commit idolatry in his presence.
Yes.
Okay? That is astaghfirullah. Now, they deal with this in 2 ways. Tabari and Ashkelani make it that, no, Ashkelani actually says, so does Tabari, that she was not mature enough. She was not mentally mature enough, so she could still play with dolls, even though she was 14 years of age. Okay? Here is the problem with that. If you're going to go with that argument, that means what is Kenny's argument? What is the Muslim argument? Well, she was mature enough. She was mentally, emotionally, and physically mature enough to have sex. If she is still of the age where playing with dolls is halal because she's mentally immature, the mind of a child, then that means Muhammad was still having sex with the child.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
That would mean
Okay?
she was
yes.
mentally retarded, is what
Pretty much.
Rad is
Pretty
implying.
much. Well, well, he was taking advantage. Either way, he was violating what the Muslims claim is their sacred oath or sacred duty or whatever. Either way, either she is committing idolatry, okay, because she is of the age of reason and ready to have sex, or he's having sex with a child. Either way, you can't get around it. And their main problem was not her age of being 9 years old. The main problem was, dude, she's still playing with dolls. He's allowing it. This is a problem. So how do we reconcile that? Oh, we just say that she was immature. She was not mature enough to be of the age of reason. So therefore, she's not committing idolatry. In other words, that was the bigger issue. That was the serious, bigger issue. Another way they try to get around this is they say, well, the revelation of playing with dolls was later given at a later time. That was before the prohibition. But again, they have a problem with that because that's actually not true either. But either way, they've got a problem with this playing with dolls thing. Okay, and the bigger issue is not him having sex with a prepubescent girl. The real issue is, was she mature enough, okay, to know the difference between playing with dolls? And it's funny, they all bring up, I know adults who have dolls. First of all, no, we don't. Second of all, well, I don't know, maybe you're really kinky Frankie, you might have a doll in your closet. I don't know, but that ain't me. Anyway, I'm just saying is this, okay? First of all, they're action figures, not dolls. But no, seriously.
Action figures.
No, I just remember when I was a kid, that was a big deal.
Well, the highlight is playing with dolls, because my mom collects. Yeah, my stepmom, right? She has dolls from her past, which is to her is an antiquity, but she's not playing with them. Yeah.
There's a difference between collecting knickknacks and dolls and whatever. One of the Muslims even brings up some like cloth doll or something. He's got, I don't know. That's freaky. You should play that little part real quick. I don't know what he's got in his hands. But anyway, there's a difference in actually playing. When you are playing with dolls or action figures, you're making up scenarios. You're making them talk to each other. They're doing stuff. You know what I mean? They're animated objects that you are manipulating to tell your own story in your own childlike mind. And of course, if your sister's got Barbie dolls, you're pulling the heads off, and to torture her in front of you. But other than that, oh, I'm sorry. Come on, we've all done that, guys, right? Yeah, sure.
No.
Anyway.
No, I've never pulled off my sister's Barbie doll head. But anyway,
Never did that
your
one.
point is well
feared
taken.
death. As a
Yeah,
child, I
your
would have
point
feared
is
death.
well taken. Are we going to
You know-
continue on, Eric, with the people of the book? Because you said it's a minute. We stopped like 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's
into
okay.
it.
We don't need to listen to his.
Oh, okay, sir.
his
Thank
rant.
you.
We do have more that he did say though, because he kind of went on a rant here.
I do want to say one thing before you do this. A lot of people do not understand the meaning of the word holy. And people, this needs to be driven home. Holy means without sin. Period. And when you say Muhammad is a holy prophet, you are lying, because he is with sin and he admits he's with sin. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even Allah says that, right? I forgive your sins and your future sins, your past sins and your future sins. That means Muhammad was a sinner. Thank you.
And that means Allah was Satan.
Yeah, because you got to define sin. I mean, what is their definition of sin? Since lying.
Allah encourages sin, and the only one is that
Exactly.
makes him Satan. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he'll say in the Bible, do good, but I mean, he'll say some good, take care of your parents, but it's very vague.
Next clip here. All right, so here's the guy. What's the guy's name? Jamal is commenting on David Wood again. Here we go.
On the marriage of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Aisha radiallahu anha, whether it was ethical or not, go into your own books and see. Because when Brother Kenny mentioned about the issue of Rebecca being 3 years old or whatever, David Wood made such a story about it or whatever, that we're inventing this, we're saying that or whatever. Yet Jewish scholars had agreed that she was 3 years old. So does David Wood know better than the Jewish scholars?
Okay, so this is a lie.
This
is a lie. But here's the point that I want to I want to make here. So listen.
Bible calls her a woman. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So David went in when this charge was made by Kenny that Rebecca was 3. David went in and goes, okay, so if she's a woman, how does a woman? If she's 3 years old, why is she described as a woman?
What Jewish scholar said this, by the way? I'm curious. Does he quote the Jewish scholars?
Rashi.
I'll answer that in a bit. Go ahead, but I got the evidence.
But the point that I want to make here is that what he's doing is he said, oh, doesn't David trust his the Jewish scholars on this? Hypocrite. What you are doing, you're saying, okay, David is going to the Bible and he's quoting from the Bible evidence why Rebecca was not 3 years old. But what you are doing, you and your clown friend here, Kenny, are both going to the Hadith and saying, no, we can't trust that. The most trusted scholars in all of Islam, you can't trust our own scholars. Basically, we can't trust our own scholars. You see the hypocrisy here and how the depth of deceit that these guys have to partake in order to try to make this point. This guy is sick. I mean, to be that dishonest. I mean, to be that dishonest and then say it with a straight. I don't know if he's saying it with a straight.
See, remember I was saying before, I couldn't count how many fallacies they made. I gave up.
It's ridiculous. And okay, let me just make one more point. If again, admin point, like, share, comment, subscribe, please. If you're watching right now. All right, go ahead. Rad, you were going to make a point about Rashi, I think it was.
Okay, yeah. So this is from jwa.org. Okay. Rebecca's age at the marriage of Aisha. There are various midrashic traditions for Rebecca's age when she was married to Isaac. According to one tradition, she was born when Isaac was bound on the altar. Since Isaac was 26 years old at the time, how do they know that? I don't know. They just put that together. And 40 when he married Rebecca, Genesis 25:20. She was thus 14 years old when she was married. That is in Seder Olam Rabbah 1. Okay. Another tradition gives her age at 3 years and 3 days when she left her father's house. That's in Sopharim Hasafa edition 1114. Okay.
It doesn't work because she'd have to have carried that water.
She carried the water. She did all kinds of things. She was Supergirl at 3 years old, man. You know what I mean? She could have defeated all the Canaanite armies together.
We have context
the ridiculousness of their argument. It's so ridiculous to try to make this argument. They do the same thing to Mary. Mary was just a little girl. Joseph was 90 years old, and they go outside of Scripture in order to do this. If we go into the Quran, we can find in 65:4, you can do this. You can do these types of things that are described what Muhammad did to Aisha. If she was prepubescent, you can go ahead and do that. But in order to get at what their conclusions are, you have to go outside of Scripture and go on to the commentaries. Here, we're quoting directly from the Hadith literature, and the Hadith literature is saying she was 9 years old. Okay. And you're going to sit here and tell us that we know better than the Jewish scholars, but at the same time, you evidently know better than your own scholars, or you're lying about your own scholars.
And Jewish scholars are not Christian scholars, just to let you know. But here, let me. I'm gonna put the link here. Let me find it. What I do with it. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Isa, let me give it to you. Hold on. It's only you got to scroll down. Rebecca Adrian Mary. It's only a paragraph. That's what I just briefly found. I do know if you go to Chabad.org and you go to Rashi's commentary on Genesis 25:20, he does mention it, and I do believe he's the one that made this interpretation or this midrash popular. Okay?
Yeah, I think you're right. He popularized the idea that she.
Yeah. So.
And what year is this midrash? Radical.
I don't know. Yeah, Rashi was 10th century. But
10th century. So we're talking
2,000 years. 2,000 years after. Yeah. 2,000 years after the event. He's commenting on it, right?
Right. Yeah. So there you go.
Either way, Rashi, I believe, populated. If you do go to Chabad.org and you look at his commentaries on Genesis 25, he does mention it. He made it popular. And the Chabadniks, okay, like you can go to Jewish Reformed or whereas Jewish Orthodox. And they won't even know about this. They won't even believe it. But if you definitely go to the Chabadniks, okay, the Lubavitchers, this is in their traditional teaching. So it is something widely taught in this very large section of Judaism. As far as I know, again, that's going by from what I learned from Dr. Brown and dealing with other Chabadniks on Pal Talk, okay, they firmly believe this. But either way, I mean, come on, carrying the water on her shoulder, watering the camels, and the way they portrayed, if I recall correctly, it was a miracle. In other words, the water would come up for her because she was too little, or the angels were carrying it on her back because she was, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I mean, they make it out to be this miraculous thing, and no, I'm sorry, but yeah, okay, whatever. If you want to believe it, that's fine, but you have nothing to do with me.
Okay, this next clip. Thank you, Red.
Eric, before you go there, okay, we've got Rashid, right? This guy. That's saying that okay, Rashi, yes, sir, thank you. That she was that Rebecca was 3 years old. Okay. Do you see Jews marrying 3 years old today because they're following Rashid?
No,
the answer is no. Okay. But with Islam, they're doing it because of Muhammad. That's a big difference. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's the nail right on the head right there. That because
thank you.
Isaac was not the sunnah for everybody to follow for all time. Joseph was not a sunnah for us to follow for all time. However, when you look at Muhammad, yes, this is it. Again, like, share, make sure you guys like the show and comment on it in the chat. Okay, this one is just kind of for the entertainment value alone. What I want you to do is I want you to look at this Narnia character here in the middle, Muhammad, and look what he's doing here. Hold on, let me just play this. It's only like 7 or 8 seconds.
Yes, they know better than everybody else. But the problem is they have such little to take from. We Muslims, when you get into discussions and debates and everything, what we actually do is we take from different sources. And we actually try and.
All right. So here, David Wood is a very liberal Christian. He also gets paid a lot of money to make content against Muslims on YouTube. He's not sincere. Okay. And they were going around this quite a bit about how much money David made. He makes $10,000 a month off of his, I think it was his Patreon alone, which is a substantial income. But that's his only income. And if you look at Marie, I don't believe his wife, I might be wrong on this, but I don't believe she works outside the home. And
they're forgetting he lives in New York City.
Right.
And,
has anybody seen his doctor bills?
And that's the thing. They said they don't understand. Nobody wants to bring that up. Saying, look at all this money he's made. Well, if I made $10,000, well, anyway, that's still quite a bit of money wherever you live. So
yeah, but Uncle Sam takes a big chunk of that, as we all know.
Sure.
And he's also working. So if he's working, why shouldn't he get paid? I thought that. I mean, it's weird. Like you said, he's very liberal. What does very liberal mean? I think he's actually pretty conservative. I think he's a pretty traditional conservative Christian. That was, seeing his work.
But I mean, they have to find a way to criticize him. They're saying that he's making money. He's making money by attacking Muslims. Is
that liberal though? I mean, I don't think the person.
That was just an allusion to his theology. But as far as the main attack here is him making money by.
The purpose wasn't ad hominem attack.
Right, that's exactly what it is, Paul. Ad hominem. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word off the top of my head.
Everybody's making an ad hominem attack to destroy him. So when they started that, they just gave the win to David Wood again. And I made that point in the chat room during that time period. I said, thank you for giving David Wood the win again.
I do have a question, though. Isn't everyone making money in this situation? I thought Imam Bomer is making money, too. He's being able to sell his book. He's able to get promotion for his stuff. I mean, I think everyone is kind of making bank from this.
It's only legitimate money if you can criticize Christianity and defend Islam. If you try to criticize Islam, you can't make money that way. All right.
And the problem is, wait. Let me just add to that, Issa. The problem is they're not making enough money. Because remember when Hatun got beat up and she broke her glasses and everybody rushed and donated and gave her like $7,000. And Kenny made a video. How much are these glasses, man? I'm trying to raise money for the Waterworld project, and I only got $250. She gets, you know what I mean?
Right.
But there's actually more to that. There is a clip. Remember when that big beast dude, what's his name from England, Muhammad Hijab, debated David Wood? Okay, they did an after debate thing, and I got it clipped somewhere. I can't find it where they're joking and laughing, but they got really bad sound. But you can clearly hear them say, he's like, Muhammad Hijab said, I wanted to walk up to him and just say, how much money or something like that you make off of this. But then, what's his name? His sidekick, Mini Hijab, actually says, and you know what, brother, how much we make it? And they slap their hands. You know what I mean? It's like, so they admit they're making money too. The problem is jealousy. Yeah. They're not making that money. You know what I mean? Shoot, I wish I was making money off of this. I'd be like, cool. All right.
Yeah. See, they'll bring something else instead of showing their own references.
No.
They don't have references, so then they have to go and just attack them monetarily, whatever, instead of showing their own references, to come against, Ibn Bukhari, Ibn Dawood, and everybody else. So they just start. That's just an attack instead of showing their own references.
Well, and they'll lie about it too. Mm-hmm. They'll lie about it. They'll lie about it, right?
Well. So instead of them lying about it, which they do, they won't go fully. So then they'll just attack the person. Well, how much money are you making? Well, wait a minute. Just show your references to prove Ibn Dawood and all of your Sahih, right? Your Sahih hadiths. Stay on topic. They're just jumping off topic to just attack the person. Thank you.
Okay.
Well,
look at this.
one thing. It's not really an ad hominem attack. It's actually called poisoning the well. You're poisoning the person.
Yeah, I agree. Chris,
Chris Claus. What's up, brother?
Salam alaikum to all my brothers and sisters up here on the stage.
Salam al-Masih. Love you, brother.
Eric, I'll send you an update through Skype, Eric.
Okay.
All right. The only thing that I wanted to come up and say is on the Muslim arguments. If you've noticed that when a Christian formulates an argument against Islam, a Muslim insists that we use the interpretation of the verse that their scholars actually hold to. So if we're talking to a Sunni Muslim, we have to appeal to Sunni scholars. We can't appeal to Shia scholars. We can't appeal to an agnostic scholar because the Sunni's just going to be like, haha, we don't even have to accept that. None of our scholars ever accepted it that way. But on the flip side, I want everybody to think, when was the last time a Muslim made an argument about the Bible and actually represented one of the apostolic church fathers or one of the early church fathers correctly in how they rendered the verse or the understanding of the verse? Have you ever had a Muslim actually do that, Eric?
No.
No.
No. They haven't even represented the verse accurately to begin with, let alone represent a commentary on it by an early church father. So when almost every single time that you get in a discussion with them, they do not represent either the verse or the context of the verses around it accurately. And
but if you were to quote a verse from the Quran, though, Eric, wouldn't a Muslim insist that we go to the tafsir to understand what that verse says? And if you give any other understanding other than what that tafsir says, or even if it's the same as the tafsir, they're going to start arguing about it because you can't have your own interpretation of it. It has to come from their scholars, of course, right?
Right. It's our own private interpretation.
But see, that's where they destroy themselves again, because the Quran makes that claim. It explains all things in detail and does not qualify all things.
Yeah, Chris.
100%.
How is that? Somebody's asking how your boy is doing.
He said he would.
I'll just give the update now, just because there are people in the audience. The last couple days have been not so great. We took about another 6 steps forward and probably about another 3 or 4 steps back this weekend. But we're ending the weekend strong. When I did leave my son tonight to let him have a supper and relax and watch some TV and maybe get some sleep, he was actually feeling better. I got him laughing. He's starting to eat again. But for all weekend, he's been really, really sick. Hasn't been able to eat. And yeah, it's been a pretty bad weekend. The doctors don't quite know what's going on with him fully as of right now. We still know that he has the MRSA, and that's what's attacking him, and they're fighting that. But it's starting to cause other problems as well. So again, just keep him in your prayers. I think we may have another couple weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks up here still to go. But like I told my son, I'd rather be up here 4 or 5 days longer than leave 1 day early.
Yeah. Facebook Messenger, Chris. Facebook Messenger.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I got a song, and I want him to hear it. God gave me that song for him.
Will do. I got to let you go, guys, because my phone's about to die, but I'm going to log back in if I get back to the motel room on time.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Love you, Chris.
God bless.
Yeah, please keep Joshua in y'all's prayers as if he's your own son.
Right.
Thank you.
There's also a GoFundMe. I can't remember who posted it. I'll have to look. What I'll do is I'll send it out.
The Chris GoFundMe. I can snap it down there.
It's a GoFundMe for him. It was sent to me. I can't remember who sent it to me, and I forgot all about it. And now that he came up on here, I'm like, I forgot to go. Anyway, I'll find it and then I'll send it out via Messenger and such. Okay, let's get back to this nonsense here. All right, we're going to go to timestamp. Kenny makes a comment about David using shock value and rhyming, and I'm not even going to go to that one. But and the reason why I say that is because somebody else used to use rhyming and things in his hip hop days. Where he'd be out all night doing living his hip hop career. I'm just saying that's not a very fruitful way to have a marriage. By the way,
drinking that Corona.
It wasn't. No, he was not drinking the Corona. He said that it was just on the table there with him and his buddies.
Just all the empty bottles, yeah, right in front of him.
Right. If he says, you have to accept it. Okay. All right. So let's go to this one right here. This one will get you fired up. Okay.
In with the pigs to make a point. If he wants to act like a swine of the humankind, I don't have to do that and join him. Matter of fact, I was approached by a number of people after the debate that complimented me on my demeanor in the debate.
Okay, so let's see here. Wait a second. Did I stopped that too soon? Okay, hold on.
And just because he's acting like that doesn't mean that I have to act like that. And you can be assured that I would like to lash out, and I'd like to go over there and slap him around, to be honest. But I can't do that. I'm a Muslim, and we're there.
Okay, so here he's the swine of the humankind, and this is exactly why I brought my friend Wilbur back with me today. He's come out of retirement back here. And this is the name calling, the juvenile name calling that he engages in, the ad hominem attacks. He's called Connie that. He's called me that. He's called Rat. Well, he's called Rat a lot worse. Rad's actually elevated that name calling thing to.
He don't like me. I don't know why, but nothing but nice.
Neither do I. Yeah. So here again, he's kind of exhibiting this Islamic supremacism that he has, and I wrote a whole bunch of things here, but notice how he wants to lash out at people who disagree with him. I wanted to lash out at, what did he say? I wanted to lash out physically towards David or something. Didn't he just say something on those lines? Where he wanted
to slap him
around.
Yeah.
He actually threatens members of the audience from time to time. So yeah, come talk to me afterwards.
And he admits in this, and I didn't include it because there's just too much here, but he even admits that that's one of his shortcomings. But yet, how
I'll take you outside. I'll take you outside.
How old is he? I mean, if you still have these, if you still have these type of feelings where you want to physically lash out at other people with whom you disagree, you need to get some type of help. I mean, it might land you in jail for a year or something. I don't know. It could, definitely not prison, but it could land you in jail because we know you didn't go to prison for anything like that. But I would just, and then, he's like talking about getting in the ring with people all the time. And if you looked at him, and he's put on some pounds.
Well, I have too.
Okay. And if he ever gets a hold of somebody, he might be just a little south of 400. Arms. He's a big boy. So if he gets a hold of you, what is he going to do? All he has to do is get a hold of you and just land on top of him, and it's game over, for God's sake.
Yeah.
What's the point? I mean, what is this? We used to do this in the third grade. Okay. You're supposed to be an adult man, and yet you still engage in this type of rhetoric.
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
well, I do get it because here's why I do get it. Because if you follow the sunnah of this guy, of Muhammad, and you allow yourself to submit to the God of this guy, that's what it's going to do to your heart. That's what it's going to cause: violence, death, suffering, and you're going to. Because Satan was a liar and murderer from the beginning, and this is exactly what influenced Muhammad. What I personally believe. This is I believe that Muhammad did see an angel, but it wasn't Gabriel. It was Lucifer.
Well, I mean, Kenny does work out. I mean, he does lift weights. I mean, he's got some really big arms on him. You know what I mean? I mean, if he hit me, he'd definitely hurt me. But I would be afraid if I knocked him out, he'd fall on me and I'd be crushed, so he'd win the fight. But no, seriously, I don't want him out to do his weight at all or anything like that. But no, he is a really big dude. And to sit there saying, and he's got these really violent. You should see the emails he used to send me. about his violent fantasies about what he wants to do to me, and I'm like, dude, get those violent fantasies out of your mind because that's not going to happen. Because one, I'm not going to play with you. I'm too fat and I'm too old and I'm not in shape and I don't have big guns like you do. I'll just shoot you. I'm sorry, but it's going to be that.
Okay,
Brad,
they're going to timestamp that. I promise you, they're going to timestamp that one.
Well,
true,
yeah,
I'm
but
too
if
old. I'm
somebody's
too old for that
threatening,
crap.
yeah, if somebody's threatening your life, you know, under law in America, we have the right to defend ourselves. So rock on, Rad.
Have you ever noticed when they start yelling Allahu Akbar and get caught for crimes? I mean, even murder. They're basically giving excuses like, oh, they have a mental problem. Oh, we're supposed to feel sorry for them. I mean, we don't go and reach out to our police and our politicians because during the Obama years, Obama stopped it all. He stopped all the training to the police.
Yes, he did.
And it's gotten even worse. And Trump, I don't know where he was. He didn't start it back up.
That's exactly right.
And I voted for Trump, so that's one of the things I got disillusioned of Trump by. I mean, oh well, if I said that sentence wrong, sorry.
I have one name for you, DeSantis. Just saying.
Yes, yes,
Let's continue
yes.
on. Go ahead.
Me too. No.
Let's continue on.
Now, if it's Trump versus DeSantis, if it's Trump versus DeSantis, I mean, honestly, I believe now that I will vote for DeSantis, but that's just my humble
I'm with
opinion.
you there,
Thank you.
Connie. I'm 100% there with you.
Yes, sir. That's just my humble
Here's the
opinion.
other thing.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that a lot of folks.
No way,
about.
Jose.
But here's the thing that a lot but here's the thing that a lot of folks tend to forget about. Trump was operating by himself. He didn't have help.
That's the problem.
He was definitely working against a certain party, and he's, which
that's the problem.
The two parties exposed themselves with Trump.
And that's
because
gonna be
really,
problem. That's always going to be the problem.
Yep, yep. Because it's not two parties; it's really just one party.
Hey, but do you guys notice that Trump said that we were at war? Therefore, when you're at war, then none of his executive orders have been reversed. So when you're at war, there's a difference between the government and the commander in chief. I think Joe Biden is just a puppet. Now, which version of Joe Biden? I don't know.
He is.
Yeah, I think
he's not in charge of the military.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on.
Joe Biden is let's get back. Let's get back to your mom. Yes.
One other
next
thing.
clip.
All right.
One other thing that I just want to remind everybody: don't forget that a goat can abrogate Allah's words. Okay.
Exactly.
And it did. An animal abrogated it.
It was a holy
Very
goat.
vulgar things that he says and so forth.
All right.
It wasn't just a plain goat.
All right, here we go.
So it boils down to someone's decency or lack thereof, and
Okay, so we're being condescended to by this guy about what is decent and what is not. Here you have him calling David a pig. Let's see here, because he's saying
that's
that
his
David
favorite
said,
animal.
Well, it's mine too, as you can see back here. This is the same guy that doxed me, and he's talking about behaving decently. He's going to try to lecture people about being decent to other human beings.
To be
Come
fair,
on,
to be fair, Eric, hold on. To be fair, he wasn't the one who actually doxed you, even though he sent the emails of what he believed at the time was your supervisor, even though he made the threats, even though he said constantly he was going to find out where you lived and who you are, and he was going to show up, even though he encouraged members of his own crew to do this, and even though it was a member of his own crew who actually did this, or a former member of his own crew who actually did this, and even though he promoted the person who actually did do this, he actually didn't do it. Right. He was still a part of it. He was still willing to participate in it.
Yes,
He still
accomplice.
made the threats. He was an accomplice. He promoted it. He actively did it. Sorry, Kenny, that dog ain't gonna hunt. But I'm just saying, yeah, this is the guy that did this to Eric.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's going to condescend about. He's going to talk to try to talk to us about decency, and this is still going on. I didn't know if you guys were aware.
Pull that up. Yeah.
Let me show you. I got this email from Muhammad Ishmael. I got it last month, and I usually don't bring things like this up, but this is kind of interesting. It says, if you can't see that, I don't know if I can make that bigger.
We can't see it. It's got to be larger.
Yeah, I can see it.
Let me see here.
And he spelled our wrong.
I know. That's why I'm thinking it's Marshall. That's why I'm almost certain it's Marshall. But it says,
go ahead and read it.
It says, you have disrespected our prophet, mothers, Muslim sisters, Quran, and Islam. We have your home address, son's address, daughter's address, and your place of work address. We are coming for you, Muslim Brotherhood of the United States.
Oh my goodness. That's a threat. That's a threat. That should go to the CIA and FBI if they'll do anything.
Actually, I would call it a keyboard jihadi event because he doesn't know what the Muslim Brotherhood is. It sounds like.
Well, he doesn't. This is why I'm 99% sure it's Marshall's, because
it's very
he's capitalizing words that. Well, he's capitalizing. Number one, this is Marshall English. He's capitalizing words that should not be capitalized. He's not using punctuation properly. He's using the word our, as in our house, or our car, as ARE. So he doesn't know how to spell correctly. But I did go through there, and he must have spell checked it, because the rest of the words, even though he used that word incorrectly, the rest of the words are spelled correctly. So I'm thinking he put some effort into this one instead of just kind of knee-jerked making a threat. But this is what this religion does. This is what it breeds. This is what it does to their head. And Kenny's going to sit there and condescend to me about this type of about decency, or other people about David Wood's not decent. He said this about the prophet. Well, David Wood is just repeating what your own sources say. But here's what you're doing, buddy.
For months, he threatened Eric. Yeah. I'm on my way. Flights are cheap. We're going to show up. We're going to do it.
So if all these guys, all these Sahih hadiths, if all these men live today, would they be doing the same thing to them?
What do you mean?
Ibn Kathir, Ibn Abbas, and all of them.
I can tell you
right. All those Sahih hadiths. If those people live today, would they be doing the same thing? That's the question.
So Ibn Kathir and Ibn Abbas would declare Kenny an apostate, and anybody who was following Kenny would have to come over to their side, and then they'd go and kill them with a writ of war.
Yeah, then they go cut Kenny's head off.
And kill him and any of his followers.
Yeah, which is sad. Which is sad. Yeah.
Okay, here's that clip that I had mentioned earlier. That let me see if I got this right here. Oops. Sorry. Am I still on this? No, I have to. Okay, hold on. Let me share screen again. Here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we are. Okay. Here's one I talked about earlier.
It's not like being in a live stream where you can say, "Oh, hold on, David Wood. Let me stop you right there. Put him on mute. Put him backstage, and then address it." I have a very short period of.
Okay, so here's what he just admits what he does on his live streams. So if you come in there and you address something what he disagrees with on his live streams, this is what he does. He's going to put you on mute. He's going to put you backstage, and he's going to talk over you. He's going to degrade you, and he's going to call you all kinds of names. And then he'll probably just kick you from the studio and won't let you back on. So why you guys go over there and bother this man, I have no idea. But if you
I don't waste my time.
So he would do that with all the Sahih hadiths. He would do that to Ibn Abbas, Ibn Kathir, right?
And
all of them.
That is why they would declare war on him. That's exactly
Right.
why.
So, it's the same thing. Muslim upon Muslim war.
So they've been doing it
the
since,
funny thing is, that's when you talk to jihadis, the preferable war to them is the Ridda War, the purification of Islam, and that is quite a statement.
Yeah.
The apostasy war, sure. Okay. Here's the next one. Let's see here. Okay, he's describing what David Wood does, rapid fire.
David Wood, and these people who engage in these type of tactics, they're going to try to throw out as many different slanderous machine gun tactics as they can in order to cause the shock value for their followers and to cause comedy to happen and so forth. And if you start trying to latch on and trying to address every single point, you're never going to make the point that you originally.
Okay, so when David Wood in his introduction, you notice what he did during the debate in the introduction. He had those stacks of books. There are 2 stacks of books of the Ahadith collection, the Tasfir, and I'm not sure if he read from the Sirah or not, the biography or not. So what did he call them? Throwing out. Let me see here. The slanderous attacks. So reading from your Sahih source is a slanderous attack now. That's what he's equating it to. This is crazy.
Incredible.
And here's what David said that really was this truism is just absolutely gold. He says, when Christians are defending the reliability and the veracity of the most trusted Islamic sources from the attacks of Muslims, we won the debate. And that is so true. When we have to defend their sources from their attacks against them, we win. You don't even, I mean, it's game over. Okay, this next one I want to play because this guy here in the middle.
Let me just say really quick on that. In Kenny's sources that he brought up some atheist Kafir scholar. He brought up in the previous debate encyclopedia this, encyclopedia that. he brought up other atheist secular scholars. You know what I mean? But he didn't even touch the hadiths. He didn't even touch the collections. He didn't even touch the tafsirs. None of this. And again, he didn't do this. And instead, we are forced. You know what? Seriously, this is ridiculous. But go ahead, continue, because this is really disgusting. What he does here, this is really disgusting.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the clapping seal here in the middle. This Muslim apologist guy. Listen to what he has to say. And I'm only going to play 5 seconds of it.
Psychopath who actually took advantage of his son's death to raise more money. This kind of people actually
Okay, so he calls David Wood a psychopath, and then he blames David for trying to raise money to bury his son.
David is a psychopath.
Well, yes, that's true. I mean, I guess that's not an ad hominem attack. That's a true statement.
And he'll tell you he is.
Yeah, but to criticize a man for trying to raise money to bury his children, and it wasn't just buying one plot. I think he had mentioned something about Marie wanting all the children to be buried in one section of the cemetery altogether, so they would have to buy. Was it 5? He has 5 kids or 6?
I think only 4.
Okay,
yeah, 4 kids.
Okay, all right, so it'd be 6 total. All right, so and it'd be like $20,000, and so this guy is berating him for trying to raise money for this. Now
he does too. Kenny does too.
Yeah, where is that, Dad?
I got it.
All right,
I got it. I can share it.
All right,
I can share it.
Let me see if I got it here. Was it here that I had it? Yeah, I got it right here. Here we are.
Okay.
Let me put it up.
But Kenny does it too. No, you should know the Kenny part. Where he talks about, yeah, he's no, because Kenny does. Kenny actually brings it up. He actually says, yeah, and they were trying to raise money right there in front of me, and they were, you know what I mean? Now look at that.
So right after, and this, both of us, I'm not faulting Kenny for doing this either.
No,
I don't think anybody would. Both of his sons were in this very serious car accident. It ended up, this is his oldest son. His oldest son ended up dying in this car accident.
I saw that. Yeah.
And at the time, they're trying to raise $5,000. I think it says right here. Can you see that? $5,000 to $20,000. And nobody begrudged Kenny for doing that. And I don't think any decent human being would.
I think we
But
did
yet,
donate to that, didn't we? We donated.
I don't think I donated to that one, no.
Okay.
But that's not
I
the
think
point I
did.
want to make. Okay, but the thing that I'd like to point out here is the hypocrisy involved from the clapping seal here. And then also look at this. I don't know if you can see this. Hold on, let me get this up here. Can you see what he's got in the background here? Wait, what happened to my shoe? Oh, here it is. Oh, never mind. All right, let me get it back up here. Hold on. No, in the background here, he's got this like painting here in the background. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like a finger painting of some sort that he may be using to sell so he can, win a date with the third grader or something. I'm not sure exactly what that is.
I saw that. I was wondering the same thing myself.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got in the background there, buddy? I mean, it's giving you away. I'd be more careful about what you reveal in the background, you scumbag. To do that to a man who just lost a child is just, again, this is the spirit that that Muhammad inspires people to engage in. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to 30:30. We only have about 15 minutes. I knew we weren't going to get through all of these. You guys talk way too much. Okay, 30. Wait a second. 31. 30. No, 31:35. 31. Here we go. Okay, right here.
For Muslims out there who you hear the word Sahih and you think that they're totally infallible. Listen, it's hard for you to comprehend this, but that's not the case.
Okay, so what Kenny's doing here is he's throwing 1,400 years of Islamic scholarship into the dumpster fire with his book. You just might as well burn it. Go ahead, Ed.
I was going to say, and I don't think they're infallible. I don't know where he's getting that from, because I don't believe a bit of it. Okay, but he does.
That's the problem.
That's what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you quote these sources to him and you tell him what Tabari had to say about Sahih Hadith, you say, hey, look, Tabari's your historian guy. Tabari gives you an understanding of Islamic history, so you know what happened in that armpit of the world right there, what you call Mecca. Tabari tells us, because there's no other historian out there that names Mecca until the 8th century. So if you're going to throw Tabari under the bus, you're throwing all of that stuff out, because if you can't trust Tabari, when Tabari says that Sahih Hadith are 99 to 100% authentic, you can trust him to that point, and you're throwing that out. You're throwing all that stuff. I mean, throwing Islamic scholars under the bus into an Olympic sport.
If he throws out Sahih Hadith, then he throws out everything,
right?
And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, when they start doing that, they're leaving Islam.
Okay,
it's like Eric has been saying, it's Ken Islam.
Well, we got a clip of his criteria of what are the correct hadiths. Actually, we're running out of time. Can we skip ahead to a couple clips?
Sure. What do you want to do?
The one that I pointed out.
The one that you pointed out. Okay.
Of course, yes. Let's get to mine. So start at 35:57, and I'll interrupt you because we want to go 35:57 to 37:38, because there's two different points I want to make here. Let's start at 35:57.
Then okay, we're gonna have to go fast. 35. There we go.
Hadith, and this might be hard for Muslims to accept, but the hadith are words according to man. The most important hadith, in my mind, no one else has to believe this way. The most important hadith, in my mind, are what the Prophet, peace be upon him, is quoted as saying. And
is that what you wanted to go to?
So yeah, throw out that Ishnad chain, throw out everything. The most important hadith are what Muhammad said. But continue playing.
Let me just say a couple things about that. Okay, so what he's talking about is, okay, the most important hadith is what is said in the Quran. Well, how do we know what was said in the Quran? Well, you have people that heard what Muhammad said, they wrote it down, they memorized it, and then what happens?
Who?
According to the hadith, Uthman collects all this stuff, and he creates the Quran. So where are the original sources for those guys? You claim about the Bible not having original sources. Where are who are these people? Where are they named? Are they named in your in your hadith? Who are these people, and where can we find what they wrote, what Muhammad said? Now what you're doing is you're not even getting primary or secondary source. Now you're with Uthman, you're at a tertiary source, sir. And so if you are going to trust
something,
what's that? Yeah, it was the first book burning ceremony that they had. All right, I'll continue because Rad's having a breakdown back there.
And if there's a hadith that says something contrary to what I believe would be the character of the prophet, which we know that there are hadith out there that they claim that the prophet said something strange and odd, and I personally I don't.
Okay, stop. So the most important hadith, according to Ken Islam, is what the Prophet Muhammad said, but only those hadith that agree with his criteria of what the Prophet Muhammad, the character of the Prophet Muhammad. How does he know what the character of the Prophet Muhammad is without the hadith? Well, only the hadith that agrees with him. Well, what are those hadiths? Well, only the ones that he doesn't say things that are strange, according to Kenny. What is strange, according to Kenny? Who knows? Again, he is making this all up himself. It is.
I actually got an idea of what he's talking about, though. That is where the hadith where he's recommending to someone to go, you should date a girl.
Right. No, exactly.
Right. You saw. Yeah. You gave me. Allah gave you and me. Gave. What did David said? This was his favorite pickup line. Allah gave you to me in a dream. That's his pickup line when he goes to try to get a woman.
Exactly. So no, it's based on his criteria. But how does he establish his criteria? What is the perfect moral example of mankind? You have to go to the hadith. But he says he rejects the hadith that disagree with what his idea of the perfect moral example is. Continue playing more because it gets even better because he actually the Bible. Yeah, we got to play that. Bring that in.
Just move past those things. Why go to extremes and try to and just insist that I'm going to accept this hadith because it says Sahih, when in fact we know that amongst the Sahih collection there's some that are Hassan, there's some that are completely fabricated, there's some that are Sahih, there's some that are Daif, and so forth. So they're words according to man. And I equate it to the same way that I look at the Bible.
Yeah.
Hey, so notice none of those guys are nodding their heads.
Yeah, they're kind of like, what? Yeah.
And he just admitted that they have completely fabricated material in their books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they should specify which one is which, but they're not going to. So
well, here's another funny thing. So in the Sahih collection, there are like you said, there are daf hadith or whatever, blah blah blah. Okay, but the hadiths that we are talking about in these Sahih collections are labeled as Sahih. So not even the Sahih hadiths are Sahih. I mean, seriously, again, why? Because it doesn't comport to what Kenny believes is his perfect example of mankind.
Let me play the last 10 seconds of this.
Okay, sure. This is good.
Okay. All right.
Bible, even though the words of the hadith are far more reliable than the words of the Bible, but the same thing with the Bible. We should approach the Bible and the hadith, words written by men.
Okay, so the hadith are far more reliable than the words of the Bible. Prove it.
But he's just throwing
Prove it.
Wait, no.
Okay.
No. Wait, stop.
Sperm comes from the breasts of women.
Stop. Hold on. Stop. The words of the hadith are more reliable than the Bible. Yet he's throwing out those words of the hadith because it disagrees with what he believes is the perfect example of mankind. Christians, do we throw out any of the words of the Bible because it does not agree with what we believe that the perfect mankind, the perfect example, the actual perfect human being is, namely Jesus Christ? Do we throw that out? Do we throw out Deuteronomy 18? Do we throw out all the Levitical stuff? Do we throw out Joshua being was it Joshua being told to strap on his sword and go out through the camp? Do we throw those verses out? We say, well, no, those are written by men. That's corrupt. Do we throw out David committing adultery? Do we throw out Solomon or David's son raping his own sister? Do we
Lot
throw
having
out
sex
Lot
with his
Lot
daughters,
having
right?
sex with his daughters? Do
Yeah,
we
we
throw
don't throw it
any
out.
of this stuff? No, we don't. We don't throw that out. We don't say, well, clearly, those Jews, they were lying. They were writing to each other. They were lying because it's a well-known fact. So if we don't do that to our text, how can this moron say that the Hadith when he's rejecting the Sahih Hadith, when he's saying that the Muslims made up Hadith, when he's saying that the Muslims lied, how can he say that that it is more reliable than the Bible? Dude, really? Okay. But hold on, do we got any more on this? Because I think there's some more.
I want to play one.
I think that's
right.
it.
Let me play this one. This is kind of. I used to play tennis when I was a kid, and this is kind of what you would say at the end of a match. You'd say game, set, match, and this is it right here. I mean, we could have just ended the show right here. Let's play this, or started the show and enjoyed the rest of our afternoon.
That the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.
Game over. All right, you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, that was great.
More reliable than the Bible.
Yeah. That's it right there. He even admits that the Abbasids were writing hadith that were false. They were fabricating them, embellishing hadith to build up Muhammad and to score political points against their enemies and to control more of to build up the caliphate, to make it stronger. You're admitting it. You're admitting what everybody has known. We don't believe the hadith as far as you could throw them. But the problem is that you do, and your scholars do. And now what you're doing is you're saying, yeah, all you kafirs, all you swine of humankind, you're right. So why are you even having a debate? Why are you even having this discussion where you're admitting what we've said all along? It's nothing but a bunch of garbage, to include the Quran, which we don't have time to get into.
As David Wood said in debate, Kenny, there is a simpler solution. Just stay away from Islam. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have time to play that other clip where he's talking about? Oh, I can't remember now.
I personally think that was the best thing to end on, but that's
no. There's a better one. No, there's one where he's talking. No, because seriously, we want to do a review of the other Muslim debater. Yeah, play that clip. What did we say it was at? It was at.
This is where modern day debate changed the time.
Yeah. Now think about this, people. Well, no, go ahead and play it, and then we'll.
No, I don't want to play it. We don't have time.
Okay. All right.
See.
So basically, he's asked by a questioner. Do you think that modern day debate treats Muslims fairly? He says, no, I don't. I'll tell you why. Because my debate was originally scheduled at 9 a.m. So that's the B team. Okay, nobody's showing up at 9 a.m. for no stupid debate. Okay, but then we got bumped, and he actually says, but then we got moved to the closer. We were the headliners. How is that not being fair to Muslims? You got bumped up, not because of you, moron, but because of David Wood, I'm sure. Okay, but you got moved up to close the show. You're the closer.
Let me answer this question real quick. Do you think modern day debate hosts are fair to Muslims? The answer is no. And now, with that being said, I believe that James, he's a nice guy, and I think that he tries, but I think there's some things behind the scene that don't seem to add up, and I'll tell you why I say that. Originally, the second debate with David Wood was supposed to be in the original lineup. It was supposed to be the first debate of the day, and then it wound up being the headline debate, and it happened right after Daniel Hakikachu came on to promote the idea that child marriage was okay. And that's a bit strange and odd. For one, that good and well that one Muslim's coming on and speaking against the idea of child marriage, and the first Muslim is coming on and he's arguing for.
Okay, let me just say something real quick about that, Rad. Let me just say something real quick. So he's complaining that that Daniel Pikachu or whatever his name is made an argument for child marriage, made it strong. A Muslim making a strong argument for child marriage, and then Kenny making a strong argument that the Hadith don't teach that. So the only thing he's really arguing is that instead of going after him, he would have gone before him. What the heck is the difference? Is what I'm trying to figure out. But
Daniel would have caught on to got the vibes. Don't do that. But Kenny, quit your crying, boy.
Well, actually, I emailed Daniel. I'm going to burn my source here. I was trying to help him, but he hasn't responded.
He did. He sent it to me too.
Let me just take a screenshot of it and I'll share that because I don't want to share my email address.
Just read it.
Okay. So I asked him. So this is what I emailed him. I said, "Hell, I recently watched your debate, marriage to Aisha, mother believers, minor marriage acceptable." And I have to say, you brought up some great points, which the Christians struggle to answer. I do want to do a review of this debate because I do believe the Christian did struggle to answer on this. For instance, raising of the minimum age due to converting from an agrarian economy to an industrial society, so teens could complete high school. Then raising it again via social pressure to graduate in college. I do believe that is wrong. I do believe we should encourage our teenagers to marry, either during last year of high school or be committed to that and thereafter. I think that would solve a lot of problems. But anyway, another great point I believe was the medical risk. Actually, I don't believe this, but I just threw this out there. Another great point I believe was the medical risk. So they're saying for young girls and that of older women. I have to say I'm a bit confused by the second Muslim who debated after you. Kenny Bomer claimed he could not know the age of Aisha, but he did know that she was older than the Hadith tafsirs and classical scholars put her age at, based on his modern day opinion on Muhammad. I'm curious on your thoughts on that. Could the Hadiths be wrong because according to Kenny, they were written in Iraq? Are all the Hadiths on Aisha's age sourced from a single person in Iraq? Or by his students? I would be very interested in your thoughts on this. Thank you for your time. Well, he responded to me. Kenny, unfortunately, is misrepresenting Islam and making bad arguments. No one prior to modernity and the dominance of Western status quo thought Aisha was older than 9. Thank you, Daniel.
Game over. All right. We're gonna end there. I gotta run.
Cold close.
I already have it, dude. I'm not gonna.
I think I got a better cold close for you. I'm gonna share with you later. But go ahead, do the cold.
What's the close? What's your close? Go.
I don't have it pulled up. No, I don't have it pulled up. No, we'll do it for next time.
All right. God bless everybody. Thank you for coming today, and we will see you next Sunday on the Cross and the Crescent discussion.
Advanced student and specialist.
Love you all.
That the standard narrative has holes. That's what I'm saying. Standard narrative has
That's all, folks.